It is 6:43, Alabama's Morning News. I'm JT. Sean Themea is back with us, who is the Chief of Staff at Young Americans for Liberty, to talk about what's going on with the, a group, House Democrats trying to push this through. Term limits for Supreme Court justices. How about starting with term limits for yourselves, folks, there in the Senate, in the House? Come on. Sean, good morning. I wanted to get your clarification on this. Now, apparently, if this goes through, this would authorize the president to nominate Supreme Court justices every 2 years. But those individuals then would serve a maximum of 18 years on the bench. So if you've got 9 justices and they're all serving 18 years, how could you, bring it up every 2 years?
Yeah, I don't think they put much thought into the specifics of this bill. They wanted to slap something together to appease their base and their donors. But, let's just take a step back for a moment. This bill is called the Supreme Court Tenure Establishment and Retirement Modernization Act, which is already a mouthful. But the acronym for that, JT, is SCATURMA. SCATURMA? Come on, that sounds like a skin rash I would get at summer camp. Disgusting. But you're absolutely right. The hypocrisy of this bill, they don't want term limits for themselves, so they want them for the justices. If this was a couple terms ago, when they had a better makeup of the court for their liberal views, they'd want post-lifetime appointments for these justices. So at the end of the day, the problem is not whether or not we have term limits on the Supreme Court. The problem is accountability for justices and judges that don't actually follow the Constitution. That's what's going to help the American people and the rule of law more.
Well, there's a reason that they don't have term limits and they're appointed for a lifetime to serve, so they can't be affected by politics. But you start putting this idea of every 2 years, which I still don't get the math. Okay, you get to run and serve if you're processed through for 18 years. Okay, all of you are going to be here for 18 years, so okay, well, it's time for another nomination. So what do you grow in the Supreme Court? First of all, you can't allow politics to get into this. And if you do this every 2 years, it's politics playing with the judicial branch of the government. And that's an awful scenario.
Absolutely. This is great for the D.C. consultants who want to say that every election is now the most important election of our lifetime because the Supreme Court's at stake every 2 years. Come on. There's a reason that the founders had checks and balances in 3 different branches of government, right? So we can all keep each other accountable. There's a reason, like you said, there are no term limits on Supreme Court justices. They wanted to have a more stable branch of government, a little more insight into history, because this republic, as we can see, can sometimes be taken over by mob rule and by this political gain, right? We need these judges who are – go for it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, here we go, because the Democrats don't get their way. We've got a conservative lean on the bench right now. You know what? Elections have consequences, and we're certainly seeing that with this administration and the state of this country right now. And the same is true. We've been doing this for years and years and years on how we nominate and put new people on the bench. So, it is what it is, but if they don't get their way, the idea is then, all right, we'll just change the rules or let's stack the bench. I know what we can do. We'll bring out this stupid long Supreme Court Tenure Establishment and Retirement Modernization Act, and we'll get that going. That way we can visit this every couple of years. They're changing the rules because they're not getting their ways. They're like little babies in the sandbox stomping their feet.
Completely agree. The good news, though, based on what I see, is this maybe passes the House, but even if it does, it's dead on arrival in the Senate. There's just no way that gets through a 50-50 Senate. So we shouldn't be concerned about this actually becoming law, but we should call it out and call out the left hypocrisy every day, all day.
Amen to that. Sean Themea, thank you so much. I appreciate your time this morning. Chief of Staff over there, Young Americans for Liberty. That's a ridiculous idea. Every 2 years. Well, I'm going to nominate some more. We've already got a bench of 9 serving for 18 years. The math doesn't work, first of all.